All right. Welcome. Thank you all for being here. Welcome to the PimBartia Situation Room and what remains of the independent sovereign nation of PimBartia. Luckily, the palace here, Lord Edward Yellow House, is on the high ground, so it still stands. Luckily, we still have internet provision and we have power and backup generator to hand, so things should be okay in that respect. His Lordship, Lord Edward Yellow, is here in spirit anyway, but he hasn't got much to say today. Also here in spirit is Her Majesty Pim, Queen of PimBartia and all the ducks, who is quite understandably a bit tied up. She's taking care of things as we speak and doing stuff and being stoical. Basically, yes. So in case you've had your head under a rock and you don't know where it's going, the Tasman region of New Zealand, where PimBartia is located, has been hit this week with what they're calling a once-in-a-100-year flooding event. The amount of rain that we've copped has been quite something, and the damage to property and etc. has been unbelievable. As you will see in the footage, which will be playing in the background as we get going with the chatting and keeping the vibe of the show rolling and stuff. Yeah, I don't really know what else to say. If you want to watch the video that will be playing in the background as we speak, you can do that. That's on my channel already. That's just premiered. It's about 20 minutes in length. That just shows you the state of PimBartia and what's going on. Thank you very much to the panelists who at short notice have agreed to join us from various corners of the globe. Representing Team UK, we have Coach Stephen, and we have Richard, the Keto Pro, sorry, Richard. And of course, from Japan, we have Dave Mack. Do you have your Pop-Tarts available, Dave? Can we share out some Pop-Tarts?
I do. I have some Pop-Tarts here.
Excellent. Good. All right. Well, guys, do as usual, chat away in the background. This is not a Q&A session per se, but once we get through the formalities of the situation, perhaps we can do. Look, I do apologize as well if my voice is a bit shaky today, as you can probably well understand. Well, things are not ideal. So let's get the video rolling in the background and you can see some of the scenes of destruction around PimBartia. I'll jump in and give some commentary as we go. But in the meantime, I don't know who wants to kick us off with bits and bobs. There's a good start. Thank you very much, Brian. Appreciate that very much. 100 Pacific pesos. That will go towards the Tasman community. It's not just about us while we've been hit, and it is going to cost probably hundreds of thousands of dollars just on this property to put right what's been put wrong by herself, Mother Nature. But yes, this is about the community. So do absolutely, guys, dig deep if you possibly can. You can super chat here on my channel. You can send money to PayPal, which is going by at the bottom of the screen. You can also follow all of us on YouTube and including Ted. Ted's got his own thing on the X platform. If you want to hear all about next Tuesday, he'll tell you all about that over there. But in the meantime, I don't know, who should we kick off with? Who wants to say something? Let's start with Stephen.
Hi. Well, just so you know, this is the first day of my holiday in Dorset. So this is
yes, we appreciate you being here very much. Yeah,
it's okay, mate. So that's why I'm all in the dark and trying to be very quiet because my dog's sleeping behind me and my wife's sleeping upstairs. But it's so shocking to see what happened. And you're such a great bloke, Bart, and very supportive. I just wanted to show my face. If that could help, it's going to my channel. Yes, I probably shouldn't mention geoengineering and stuff like that, so I won't mention that whatsoever. These freak weather conditions are pretty frightening. So yeah, my heart goes out to you and Pim, obviously, and all that, and the animals, of course. You know, if the animals in nature, this is pretty scary. But yeah, I'm just here because I wanted to support what you're doing. I probably won't be able to do very long because, like I say, everyone's asleep, and I've driven five hours today. But you're doing a good job because you're also just helping people around you, which I think is admirable, but obviously understandable because you're part of the community there. So, yeah, I think I just want to be behind you. I mean, it's great that people are putting super chats in. It's already good to see Jonathan, who's always very supportive of everyone else's channel, doing something now. So that's cool. You can see from my little red face that it's sunny here, but we've also had rain. I mean, the weather's so different to what it was 10 years ago, 15 years ago. I don't remember when I ever drew a sky. I never drew clouds in a white grid. I never did that. Clouds, definitely. So that's going to get you banned off YouTube, but I hope that's helped.
Excellent. Very, very good.
But yeah, I mean, your humor helps you to get through these things. Like, you saying that the river should be behind the river. That isn't a river, is it? That's
no, that's not a river. That is my paddocks.
Yep.
Yeah, the river should be behind the line of trees. It was just up on the screen there before. We're joined at this point by Dr. Abs. Thank you very much, Dr. Abs, for being with us. Appreciate your time. I know it's probably a crazy time of the day. What we're looking at there is some of my grazing. That's not a river. How are you, Abs?
Well, I wish I was here under better circumstances, to be honest. I'm so sorry to see it, to hear about it. And I mean, these images are pretty shocking, frankly. I recently did a podcast specifically about farming practices and how important it is to make sure that we look after our farmers, that we understand how much effort it takes to produce good quality soil for good quality grass, for good quality meat, and to understand that there's a lot of effort that goes into it. So to do that podcast very, very recently, in fact, have some great feedback on it, and then to see this is, I'm a little bit speechless, to be honest, to see all that.
Yeah, I mean, as I sort of said earlier, I apologise for the shakiness in my voice, but we are in shock. We have been absolutely.
Yeah.
That is my driveway.
Wow.
So trying to get a vehicle in and out, nope. As you'll see a little bit in some of the footage, we have one road that services our property. That's the road that you can just see in the background there, which is fed by a bridge over the river that's flooded, that's caused all the damage. And we woke up yesterday morning and the bridge is not there, which means we are completely isolated by road for an indeterminate period. That there that you can see is also grazing, or it was. That line of trees is the front of where the river course normally goes. And what you can see there is a torrent of water screaming through there at a rate that is actually, most of those trees in that footage there, as we speak, are no longer there. They're gone.
It's crazy.
That's
how deep is the driveway, Bart? The water?
Well, at the worst, there was about 2 foot of water going across the top of the part of the driveway that you can drive a vehicle over. There's a culvert with a raised area that you can drive across, and that was 2 feet underwater. And the water, of course, that was running through there is another 6 foot deep through there. Most of the driveway is gone. It's been washed out. So that's like usually a dry creek bed that runs through parallel to where the driveway comes around. There's a loop there. That's the bit that you drive the vehicle over.
Yeah.
And it was at a point where we couldn't cross it even by foot because it was just too dangerous. I mean, I don't know if you understand the force of water like that going through there. Well, you can see it's taken out the fence that was around there.
Yeah.
Just smashed it out of the way.
And what about the surrounding area, like the people that live around you?
The whole region has been hit really, really hard. Our house is high and dry. It's on a high point. So, the house still stands. We've got all our stock up to the high ground before the worst of it has hit. The others around us have lost their homes, their entire livelihoods. So, you know, while we're in shock, others have got a lot worse. That's why we're doing this, to try and raise as much as we possibly can. Thank you very much, Truthfire, for that. We appreciate that. That pit that you see that waterfall going into there, that is,
Wow.
it's another 12 to 18 feet to the bottom of that pit below the level of the water there. It's, you know, just something else, really. PimBartia will survive. We will build back better. Let's bring in Dave for some comments. Dave, what are your thoughts as you're seeing this?
This is just shocking. Like, I remember quite a few years ago the flooding that covered parts of Queensland, and it just looks the same. It's just like it's just what the destruction is crazy. Look, I just, you know, from my side, I just want to say I'm here to support, and you know, anyone that's watching on my channel, if you send any super chats or any support through, I'll make sure that it gets to Pim and Bart.
Awesome, appreciate that, and we'll make sure that it gets to the folks around the region that need it. I mean, we've got insurance. It won't cover everything. Absolutely, it won't. But there are others around us. I was talking to a local bloke here. He's been farming in this region for 50 years, and he's in tears. He's not covered. He's lost, you know, we've lost a bit. That's all of that there. That is a paddock, by the way, or it was.
Wow, so that's grazing land, basically.
That's grazing. It's supposed to be grazing, yes.
Yeah, wow.
So the other issue we've got, obviously, is what are we going to do with our stock?
Yeah, but what is the feasibility of the remaining land being something that the stock can use?
Well, we have some grazing left, which will run out pretty quickly. We have 200 bales of hay in the shed, give or take. And beyond that, feed is going to have to be trucked in, not just for stock as well, because as you'll see soon, we are unable to leave the property by vehicle to even get to a supermarket to get basics. We are cut off, basically. That is a paddock that you're looking at, or was a paddock the day before. That tree there, the smaller one, that's gone. That line of trees where the normal bank of the river was, most of those are gone as we speak. This footage was about 2 days ago, and the water hasn't dropped a lot because there's so much water going through there. It's just incredible. Richard, thoughts?
Good day, kind sir.
Well, it's a day.
Well, it's a day, yeah. Yeah, absolutely unreal, isn't it? I mean, I've been watching the posts that you've been putting onto social, and it's absolutely mind-blowing, the power of Mother Nature and how much we rely, you know, on these things. But it's absolutely mind-boggling. I genuinely thought that was a river until you just said that, you know,
no, that's my farm.
Your driveway and your pasture, and it's yeah. I mean, the concern for me now, obviously, is getting as much feed over to you as we can to keep that cattle going, because it looks like, you know, correct me if I'm wrong, but you're completely isolated from any external help currently.
Pretty much. We had the local civil defence emergency team come in yesterday, and the way that they've had to come in is via the forestry on the other side of the property, the higher side, which is, as you can see, just coming into shot there now. They've had to hike through the forestry to get to us, which is miles to the nearest road on the other side. And they came in to bring in medication for someone that lives on this property that needed it. We've got a lady that's living with us in her transportable living arrangement, because she had nowhere to be. And we said, look, come and be here. That's fine with us. You can help out around the farm a bit. Obviously, there's a bit to do. Luckily, she's also been able to get her kit and caboodle up above this in time, and so she's okay. So everybody here is, alive. All the stock, we haven't lost a single head of stock. So, and that's down to Pim's quick action, by the way. I was up the night before because I knew that this could be a problem, and I didn't sleep well, and she just let me sleep, and she got up in the morning, and none of this was as it is now. It was just, there was a little bit of water lying around. It was like, okay, we're pretty damp. And she sort of nudged me about 6 a.m. and said, things are looking a bit interesting. I'm like, oh yeah, okay, fine. Yeah, okay. There's a bit of water around the place, whatever. About 11, she came in and said, right now, I need you to get up now, because we need to move this stock now. And I said, what are you talking about? And she said, look out the window, Charlie Brown. And I said, Jesus Christ. Excuse my French, but, and it was like, oh, the farm is gone. And she's like, yes, so can you come and help me move these cows now? And I'm like, yes. Up, bolt upright. Yeah. And
what's the reality part of how long is it going to take to get back to, well, how long is the water going to take to drain for a start? I mean, are you expecting it to last for much longer? Or?
Well, I'm expecting possibly several weeks before the water drains, and before we can even really get the insurance assessors in here to have a look. There's going to be probably several feet of soft silt, basically quicksand. It's going to be months and months before there's any grass will grow there, I would suspect, especially given that it's dead of winter. Just don't know. And the other thing is the bridge that's gone, which you'll see on the footage soon, is the only access, and there are 5 families that live up this road. So we are not going to be a priority to restore that access. It's just not going to be a priority. There are others that are in a worse situation than we are. Yeah. There may well be the capacity to bring stuff in by chopper.
And but is this exacerbated because this has hit multiple regions of New Zealand at the same time?
Yeah, we are in a state of, they call it a state of civil defence emergency. It's a public emergency. The government have declared it such. So that'll fix everything. Thanks, government, for declaring an emergency. As to what they're actually going to do, well, I haven't heard anything yet. And this is now day 4. I get it. There are others that are, still actually needing rescue, and they're dealing with that. I get that. There are choppers overhead and have been, for the last 4 days. So they are keeping an eye on whatever. We have had a visit from the civil defence folks who have come in to count fingers and toes and to bring medication in. So that's taken, its course. But in terms of just basic, that you can see, that little building is the actual well head of the well that serves the water for the property. And it got to a point where another 30 centimetres or foot of water would have submerged that well head, which is run by an electric pump.
Oh.
So we would have been absolutely screwed had it gone, to that point. Luckily, we still have water, we still have power, we still have internet. We have food in the pantry, we have cows on the property. So others have it worse, but it's not ideal, folks, at all. Yeah. So there's the Meat Militia mugs sitting on the post in the background. So yeah, we can still boil the jug. Here we go. Here's our bridge. The one and only access. And as I was standing here recording this, you can hear the stuff caving out from underneath where I'm standing into the river. So I'm like, right, I'm moving. Later on in the afternoon, a local farmer, who I won't name, and his wife come trundling down there in their 20-ton tractor, whatever it is, drove up to the edge of the thing for a rubberneck. So I was standing about where this is being footage right now at that time. So I went running out there going, that's not stable. Get the hell off there. What are you doing? Oh, what do you mean? I mean, it's caving out from underneath, and a 20-ton tractor sitting there is going to go in there if you do. So, oops. So people are in shock, absolutely, but still, use your brains, folks, for God's sake. Anyway, that's what's left of the driveway after. Yeah, so obviously we can't do anything until that's rebuilt because that's all unstable. And that pit there is another 15-foot pit that you can see. That there is about halfway. Well, the back fence of the property actually runs perpendicular to that bridge. So it runs through to about the middle of the shot now. And that land is all gone. The day before, that's where I had some cows eating the grass.
That's unbelievable.
It's bloody frightening. It looks like I'm a bit closer than I really am to the edge. It's a camera artifact. I'm not that silly. I was standing a good 15 feet back. But that's where the bridge is supposed to connect to the road that runs down the front of the property. That's what's left of the fence line that would have run down to the fence line and then 90 degrees back from there. I was talking the day before, I was talking about what are we going to do to clear all the brambles from that fence line. Well, it looks like that's taken care of because there ain't no fence line or anything to put a fence line on. So never mind the brambles, they're probably out in the ocean by now. Whew.
Are they, is the rescue operation starting?
Well, rescue operations are occurring around the region for those that are still in need of actual rescue. That's why we're waiting for whatever else. Thank you, Harry, for your support. Appreciate that very much. Harry's up early his time, Tasmanian time, to catch the stream. This is the scenes of devastation, Harry, that we're looking at. I sent you an email overnight. I don't know if you saw it or not. I've given you the map situation in the email there and some details of it. But basically, that there is not a river, or wasn't a river a few days ago. That there is part of my grazing, or was. And now it's, I don't know how much of it's washed out. It's probably a 15-foot deep hole in the ground, I would suggest, or deeper, because the force of water that's been going through there has been just undescribable, really. Right, I should stop talking. Who wants to say something?
Well, what are you going to do for access to supermarkets and things, Bart? I mean, if you can't get to them, what's the plan to get basic things like, you know, cooking utensils and maybe bits of meat if you can't slaughter your own cows, things like that?
Yeah. Well, We're kind of a bit in shock, Abs. We're kind of really sitting here just waiting to hear from the authorities as to what they're going to do and when they're going to do it. Yeah. I know they've got their hands tied. I know they're busy dealing with those that are still in an immediate life-threatening emergency. We're just not a priority right now, and I get that. And that's, right and proper. But the answer to your question is no idea. Absolutely no idea what we're going to do at this stage. There is a mountainous, treacherous, precipitous track that is drivable by a four-wheel drive vehicle, or at least it was before all of this happened. I don't know if it's even drivable now to even get out that way. We are basically just sat here pretty much waiting for word. Yeah.
Have you and Pim got yourselves any 4x4 vehicle or whatever to use in the farm?
Yeah, we have. We've got a 4-wheel drive working vehicle, and we've got a road vehicle that's actually all-wheel drive as well. But we've got nowhere to go. We can drive around the property, those bits of the property that are still accessible if we need to. But as it is, there's really nowhere to go, even on the property.
And what about the backup generator? Do you think that's going to be able to keep going?
Well, so far we've still got grid power, which is a small miracle, basically, because the power line to the grid supply actually goes underneath this water that you're just looking at now. It's buried under that, and if that washes out or something heavy comes through there and takes that cable out, that's the end of that. So that'll be generator time. The generator that we have is like a 5 kilowatt generator, so we'll be able to do absolute basics, but they'll, that'll be about it. In terms of hot water for showering and all of that, that's all run on gas bottles, which if we run out of gas, again, there's no way to get gas here unless they're going to drop it by helicopter, for example. So we're imagining that it's not real, I think, at this point, and we're going, oh, well, we'll be all right. We've got a pantry full of food, but that'll only last as long as it'll last. We've got a freezer full of meat that'll last as long as it lasts. And as I was saying, I really don't feel that the rebuilding of our bridge in particular is going to be a huge priority, because there are 5 families that live up here. And there are others on major routes that have suffered damage that, will come first. I'm thinking.
And what about the rate of flow of the water? What are you seeing? Is it getting worse? Is it stabilizing? Is it slowing down a little bit?
Okay, well, the water that you can see there has dropped about a foot in the last 4 days. The rate of water that's flowing through there is such that you could not keep pace with the debris that's floating through there, like entire trees and etc. If you found yourself in that water course by accident somehow, that would be the end. There's no two ways about it. It's that kind of force of water. It's indescribable, other than what I've just said, I guess.
I don't know what to say, to be honest. I mean, I can't even imagine what it's like to just wake up and see that.
I know you guys are all gobsmacked, but I was kind of hoping that you could say something, because I'm just about out of words. It's like, I've never seen anything like it. I was having a conversation with a neighbour, obviously shouted across this here because he couldn't get to me and I couldn't get to him. But he drove up the driveway as far as he could, and he was like, are you guys okay? Yes, we're fine. How are you guys doing? Well, it's been better. He's lived his whole life in this region. He's about my age, so he'll be somewhere between 45 and 55, I'm guessing. And he's never seen anything like this in his lifetime. As it is, his parents actually owned this farm. When he was a kid, he was actually here as well. So he knows the property very well, and he's just looking at this and going, my God. The entire landscape has changed overnight.
Have there been any casualties in that area, Bart? You said there's 5 families.
Not that I'm aware of. I'm not aware of any loss of life. I haven't really been following the news that closely, mind. Obviously, we've been a bit tied up doing, getting stock above this and trying to make things as secure as we can make them, making sure the lady that's down the back of our property is in one piece, and her 12-year-old daughter. trying to look after them as best as we possibly can as well. All while, as you can see from this footage here, the rain just kept on coming. It's stopped now, but more rain is forecast later in the week as well, so that could set us back again. Don't know. We just feel pretty helpless, really.
So is it at the stage now that it's the rain stopped, so it feels like, okay, it's calmed down, it's kind of stable now, but you're worried it's going to maybe get worse if the rain picks up again?
That's the message, yeah. From Wednesday, Thursday, today being Sunday our time, the forecast is for, yet more.
Right.
And the problem with that is it doesn't take much more because the land is absolutely sodden. I'll give you an example of that. When we pull the plug out of the bath, for example, that water goes through a normal pipe system, to what's called a sink pit just behind the house, which is a gravel pit where the grey water sinks into there and it sinks into the land, and we're not connected to any kind of plumbing system. And I pulled the plug out of the bath last night, and back she came.
Wow.
It's full. There's nowhere for water to go. We're on septic tank, which was emptied a few months ago when we bought the property, so we've got some leeway there for sewerage. But also, as it is, all the water has to be boiled for consumption.
Yeah.
Because God knows what's flushing down from upstream. And that, what you're seeing there, that little building there, is our well, and that's where the water comes from. So, yeah, it's not ideal, folks. It's not an ideal situation. And it's pretty damn frightening, because the road that you can see there is not accessible. Our house is about at the same level as that road, slightly higher, and it's off to the left from the shot here. And several more feet of water, and we could actually be in real trouble. So, yeah.
What's your availability tomorrow? Oh, sorry, Abs.
Tomorrow, I'm not going anywhere. I'm here. So as long as we've got electricity, I'm here.
Yeah. But as you know, Stephen and I are live every Sunday UK time at 7 p.m. for Q&A. We get lots of traffic through there, Stephen, don't we? Between the channels. Abs, a returning supporter of the channel. If you wanted to join that, and maybe we could live stream as we are now with Q&A. I think look at the people on the screen. I think minefield of information. So I think Steve, if you're up for it, maybe we open the invite to everyone on the call to see if they're willing to join for an hour of Q&A. Maybe that will income generate and be able to at least
absolutely flick it through.
In some capacity.
Listen, just as we're speaking, thank you very much for that. Yes, absolutely. I just flick the invite through on an email, and we'll be there if it's at all possible. I just want to say thank you to everybody that's contributing along the way. Obviously, we can't stop and acknowledge everybody at the time, but yeah, absolutely, we appreciate that very much, and we will make sure that the funds are distributed to those around the region who need it most. We obviously are in a bad situation in terms of what the cost of this is going to be, but it's not all about us. There are others who are in a worse place, believe it or not, than we are. So yeah, this is a major region-wide event. Basically, the entire top half of the South Island of New Zealand has been decimated pretty much by this event. And the South Island of New Zealand is about the length of Sweden, I think, in terms of the size of that. Obviously, the population here is a lot lower than up there. There are something like 5.5 million New Zealanders, I think, most of whom are in the North Island. But nonetheless, those that live down here in the south, this is what we're faced with. Yeah.
How are you doing for food, Bart, in terms of, you said you got meat in the freezer. How I hate to ask it, but how long do you reckon you've got on that?
I think we probably got 3 weeks or so. You can hear the rooster probably in the background. He thinks it's great.
Yeah.
Shut up, Brian. Who is Brian? I don't know. He's incredible. I mean, Brian is part of that food supply, frankly, and he's, you know, he's crowing about his life at the moment. He doesn't know what peril he's in, frankly. He could well be for the chop. So yeah, we've got probably 3 weeks worth of stored supply of various kinds of food and non-food items that can be used for food as well. We've got bottled fruit, for example, because we've got a fruit orchard, and we thought, what are we going to do with this? Oh, well, and my mum came and bottled it because that's what mums do. A few months back, she said, you never know. And I was like, Mum, we don't eat that. And she said, you never know. Well, Mum was right. You never do know. We might have to eat some of that. We've got any number of birds that, you know, can be sacrificed and processed on site and eaten, as long as we've got gas to cook them, by the way.
Yeah.
Or electricity, because, you know, we've got an oven as well as a gas hob, but, you know, maybe we have to light a fire in the backyard to cook chickens and ducks and whatever else. We've got any number of sheep and cattle on the property. Obviously, we're not going to go and start killing those unless it gets pretty damn desperate. We've got one of the former residents here in the freezer, which will last quite some time, I guess. So, I mean, we're okay. Yeah. We're not going to starve to death. But just basics and items that you would normally take for granted. Toothbrushes, toothpaste, exactly.
Yeah,
you know, exactly. That we've got a normal supply of that. We haven't stockpiled that in case of Armageddon. So when that runs out, you know, maybe we're using baking soda or God knows. Toilet paper. That's another thought. We've got a normal sort of household supply of that. That'll run out long before the food does, if we can't get anything in or out. I mean, I guess we can call the civil defence folks and say, can you airdrop us some toilet paper or something, or some basic groceries? I don't know. Yeah, like I don't want to make light of it because it's a serious situation, but I also want to make it very clear that there are others around the region who are in a much worse situation currently and immediately than we are. Thank you very much for that, Bella B. Brat. Sorry about that. Can't even read. I'm all cross-eyed because, you know, as you can imagine, sleep in the last 3 days has been a commodity that I've had in no more than 2 or 3 hour blocks because I'm just full of cortisol and, you know.
Sleep-wise, so you just kind of awake, worrying about it, checking things on the property.
I can't sleep properly.
Mm-hmm.
At its worst, on the night where it was, you know, really, really, whoops, this is very, very problematic. I was every half hour out there with a torch to check the level of the water. Where are we? Are we still okay? And, you know, knowing full well that actually if we weren't okay, we were not going to be okay because there was no way out. That horse had already bolted. So we were there for duration, and it was just like, well, do we need to climb on the roof? Okay, it didn't get that bad. As it turns out, the water never made it to the house at all this time. But, you know, it's
still. I mean, I'm watching it thinking, like, is this real? It's almost like something you see in a film, and
I'm looking out the window and going, this isn't real.
Yeah. And I mean, to those guys watching, like, if you think about you know, how much Bart has contributed to our community, like in all the videos that he's put out, all the BS that he's exposed from God knows how many people there are on the interweb spouting that nonsense, and the amount of help that he's given you, to us, to me. You know, if that's ever mattered to you, if that's ever meant anything to you, and you ever want to give back, now is absolutely the time to give back, and not just, you know, on a human level, but at the end of the day, we have to change our perspective, I think, on how well we look after and how well we treat people that produce food for us, for the rest of society. And on both of those levels, I think, yeah, if whatever you can, in any way you can help, I think that'll be massively appreciated. 100%.
Yeah, thank you very much, Abs, for those sentiments. And yep, all I can do is echo those. You know, guys, if $5 is where you're at, if that's what you've got, we'll take it, and we will distribute it to those around the region that need it. This is not just about us. This is about a very, very serious situation here in New Zealand right now. I don't know if the international news media is doing justice to what's going on, but I'm just hoping some of this.
Honestly, I didn't even know it happened until I saw your post. Like I've seen nothing about it in the UK.
Yeah, it's incredible, absolutely incredible. Yeah, so that's what we're faced with. Those that metal or gravel that you can see, that's kind of a brown color in the previous shot there, in that what's basically usually just a dry trenchway. It's supposed to allow a little bit of water to go through, nothing like this. Thank you very much, Juliet, appreciate that very much. Those stones were not there before. They've been washed down overnight from further up. The whole landscape has just changed entirely. That edge where that now river is running through, that's about halfway back in a paddock in which we had cows very, very recently. And that's all just been washed away, caved in. I don't even know how deep that is there. We won't see it until the water drops. And, you know, the bridge that services the property the Yonge Road in has been washed out there. As you can probably see, the camera doesn't go there. I'm going up to it now. There's supposed to be land between that bridge there and the elevated bit that's the road there, and it's just not anymore. So, yeah, that's just... no more words, really. What can I say?
And I'm just looking at. I've got another screen here, just trying to look up some of the news stories and what's being reported. And there has been loss of life, actually.
Okay, that's the first I've heard. I haven't been following that. Yeah. All right.
Yeah. So it's shocking to see that it's reached that level, to be honest.
Yeah.
But I guess your neighbor who's been here for 50 years, and he said he's never seen anything like it. I guess I can kind of understand why there aren't flood defences if half a century has been there and this has never happened. But I think going forward, that's going to have to be something they do.
Just pausing the footage for a moment to let you know that those 2 or 3, 4 trees there that you can see, they're gone. They are not standing there anymore. Incredible. They went last night or the night before it was. Now, see, even, days are just blending into each other a bit now. Yeah. So
it's pretty bad. That so much devastation, and I've seen nothing on the news about this. Read nothing in the news about this. It's only through your posts, Bart, that I've actively sought out the information. It's just no one's really covering it.
No.
Yeah. So,
which day, Bart, did you recognize it as a flood and not just rain?
What are we looking? We're looking Thursday morning, Wednesday night UK time.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's now
quick.
Sunday. So I don't know, what's that, day 4? Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Yeah. This is day 4. These images were taken with my phone camera on Friday morning, I believe it was.
Right.
You might just see a line of shingle, a line of pebbles nearly at the back of that river. That's the normal river bank.
Wow.
That's where the river ends and my property starts.
Jesus.
Tell me about it. So it's like you come over that bridge and I go, now look to the left, all of that is PimBartia. Except it's not anymore. Yeah. So. Yeah, I'm very sad to hear that there has been loss of life. I hadn't heard that yet, but yeah.
Yeah, I was just on One News. Seems to be a New Zealand news channel.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, you weren't exaggerating, but it is a significant amount of the South Island. Like it's I mean, you said it's kind of the top half. It's I think it's more than the top half, frankly, looking at this map that news channel has put out. It's what, 2/3 of the island?
Okay.
Hit by it. It's ridiculous.
All right. So that's an area that's probably at least 2/3 of the land area of the UK is what we're talking about there.
Wow. I mean, yeah.
So what we're seeing there, if you look at, there's a line of trees that's going back from the right hand of the screen back to the middle back. And then there's another line of trees, 90 degrees of that. That's my boundary line.
Wow.
And that's now under 15, 20 feet of water at that point.
It's that much.
Yep.
Wow.
So it's weeks and weeks and weeks until it drops, I would suggest. Behind the trees that are parallel to the camera line, or the ones that are that way rather than off on the angle, behind that, you can still see the river, and it's still white water, the actual main part of the river. It's just, and pretty indescribable, other than that's why I took the video, because if I said, oh, there's a bit of water, you'd go, oh, geez, well, what's he on about? So there it is, basically, in a nutshell.
And what's Pim doing now, Bart? Is she trying to look after livestock?
She's out there. She's out there dealing with animals that need dealing with. She's moving stock to. There's the river there in the background. You can see the white water behind. Like the trees there. That's Anyway, so Pim is being stoical. She's being stiff upper-lipped, and she's just dealing with it. I'm doing what I can do to help. But, she's in charge, and I'm just doing as I'm told, because I'm just actually chasing my tail. I'm really actually just in shock. I don't, So she's like, do this. Right, now do that. Now do the next thing. And, all of that. So, I'm actually glad that she's here to keep things, because otherwise I don't know what I'd be doing. I'd be online. I'd be online talking to my friends, probably. Oh, I am. While she's working. Yeah, right, there it is. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, again, I don't know what. I'm just so sorry for you, but like, I look at you as someone who spends his time trying to improve the education for people, trying to put out in the world, and it's. I hate to say it. It's a cliche phrase to say, but it's not really fair. I know life isn't fair, but that couldn't be more true right now.
Yeah. It is what it is. I appreciate those sentiments, absolutely, and I'm really, well, as I say, while I appreciate the sentiments, I'm really not digging around for feel sorry for me, please, guys. What I'm trying to do here is to
Yeah.
say, look, this is what we're dealing with here in this part of this part of the world. And thank you very much for that. Appreciate that. Canadian pesos, we like those. We're safe. We're alive. All our stock is safe. We have electricity and running water still at this point. Others either don't have a home, and as we're finding out, some of them no longer have their lives. And insurance is not going to cover this, folks. For most people, including us, we're not going to get looked after properly, I would imagine, entirely. There's 2 or 3 kilometres, 1.5 miles at least, of fence lines down there that are gone. That'll need, when the water subsides, we'll need to re-fence that before we can even look at regrassing and regrazing. And, the cost of that length of a fence line, well, it's hundreds of thousands of dollars. And, I'm sure the insurance will make, a gesture towards that, but I don't think that's covered 100%.
And you lose the top.
Yeah, we lose
the top
soil and we get silt instead. The silt would probably be quite productive, though, I think, Stephen. So in terms of, the ability to grow grass again, yes, but we'll have to wait for the summer, because don't forget, this is the dead of winter here. The shortest day of the year was the 21st of June, and it's now the 29th. So, yeah.
I think Harry Serpanos has just made a very, very good comment there, actually.
There you go.
I've never spoken to Harry, but I agree with him on that.
Yeah. It's best to agree with Harry on whatever he says. Love you, Harry.
Yeah.
We've got to have some humour on the show. We love you, son. Harry Harilaus Serpanos, the King of Tasmania. Well, he decreed the King of Tasmania by myself, the King of PimBartia.
But it's going to permanently alter that landscape for such a long period of time, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Yep.
It's not just like, it's a bit of rain, a bit of flooding, and 2 weeks later that water will drain away.
It won't.
You'll have that topsoil depletion.
Yeah.
You'll have, like I say, an altered landscape. You'll have all the wildlife. They will displace because they'll move. They'll have to move.
Yeah. And Harry also made a very good point on email last night. He said all those trees that are gone along that where the normal course of the bank of the river normally is, if they're not replaced with something, then there's nothing retaining that. And the next time you get even a slight flood, the whole lot goes again.
Yep.
And, given that bank is on my property, guess who's up for that? Plus dealing with the council who will want to put their spade in, say, oh, no, you can't do that. You can't,
Yeah, that's right.
That'll be the same council that probably has no priority on fixing our bridge. That'll be that same council, by the way.
I'm afraid to say I've got to go, really, because
that's fine, Stephen. We appreciate you being here very much. Absolutely. And it was at short notice because obviously this has just happened. We really do appreciate your time late at night in the UK on your holiday, giving up your time just to come and give your support and to stream out the stream to your folks as well. Appreciate that very much. Appreciate all the support. Much love to you, and send love to Jane for us as well. Tell her very, very sorry to take you away from your holiday, but needs must.
Okay. Anyway, maybe we'll see you tomorrow night, as Richard said. But anyway,
good
luck.
Send me the details, and if I can be there, I absolutely will. You bet.
Cheers, mate. Okay.
Cool.
Cheers, Stephen.
Bye.
Okay, man.
All right. So there we go. A few more of the old super chats there. Peter, appreciate that very much. Thank you. Help is coming, and it's coming in the form of Peter, who has agreed not only just to put his hand in his pocket, but he's actually agreed to fly in from Australia to help. At the moment, Peter, you can't actually get here because the bridge that services us is gone, and I don't know when the council is going to fix that. Don't cancel your trip, though. There is another way around that we may well be able to still get you from the airport. But yeah, we appreciate that very much. Peter has a background in farming, among other things, and so the practical help is very much appreciated as well. So much love to you, Peter. Thank you for that. Yeah, we really love the red-coloured. We love all the contributions, folks. We appreciate everybody at the level that you possibly can, but those red-coloured ones, really, we love those as well. Yeah. So, guys, where do we go from here? Other than, you know, she's a long road back.
Yeah.
We go to prayer, I think. I mean, there's not many places you can go.
Well, there's nowhere we can go.
Well, the looks of it.
Nowhere at all.
Yeah, exactly. You stay put. You stay put.
Oh, now, that's the other thing that comes to mind. That there is a duck pond, which is usually a nice, quiet bit of water. In the summer, it's completely dry. It's just a basin. There's nothing in there at all. And it fills up to the level that it's filled up now, but it's basically still water. And there's just a little trickle that comes across the front edge. And it drops down 15 feet further below where the water is right now, which you'll see in a moment if you haven't already seen it. There it is. That's what's happening with that. Yeah. That line where the water's going out of that pond into that pit has fallen out since this was recorded. It's gone back another 20 feet, and it's just out of there. And all of that sluiced down.
What, you mean the edge has come away, Bart?
Yeah, it's completely collapsed.
Wow.
It's fallen in because the force of that water is just, yeah. So,
Jesus.
And just, you know, does that drain the pond? No, it's still thundering through there. PimBartia Falls, yes, exactly. PimBartia Falls. That's full glory. Yeah. So,
it's crazy how much destruction it can cause. It's
Mother Nature does not mess around. Basically, when she's angry, or you know, when I've upset God in some way. I shouldn't joke, but you know, we need to keep the vibe of the show. Otherwise, it'll all just be tears before bedtime. Really. Yeah. All right, guys. Well, we've been going about an hour, and I think that's probably, you know, as much as people can cope with at this stage. It's about as much as I can do. I really should probably go and render some useful assistance around the place. Well, it's just not happening. I'm just full of cortisol. I put my head down, and you know, I think I'm so tired. I'm going to go to sleep now. I put my head down, and as soon as my head hits the pillow, it's like no.
Yeah.
It's the hypervigilant, you know, just shock,
high stress,
cortisol, running on the smell of an oily rag. I can't remember when I last sat down and ate, actually, because it's just not. It's not even in the thinking.
I'm so sorry, man.
Thanks for that. I appreciate it, and I appreciate your time, Abs. Your valuable time. I know it's. You know, it's late. I don't know what part of the world are you in right at the moment. Are you in the UK or elsewhere?
I'm in London now. Yeah, I've just come back from Milan.
Nice. All right. Okay then, guys. I think we'll wind it up there. As I say, I appreciate your time very, very much, and we'll see some of you tomorrow on Stephen and Keto Pros.
Rich will do, Bart. Rich will do.
Yeah.
But I think if
I'm that crazy. I can't even think of people's names right now. It's just like, what the hell is your name? Yeah, sorry about that.
I've been called worse. Worse.
So have I, recently. This morning, in fact. Would you believe it?
Yeah. But look, if you know, the invitation's open to all of you guys. If you want to join the live tomorrow and stream through your channels, I'm sure we can get some more aid for you guys. Good. I've posted the link to your PayPal in the comments. So yeah, and obviously this will stay live as we get off there. But fingers crossed.
And
we can raise
Lord Edward Yellow, Ted thanks you all. Ted says, "Hey Dave, nice to see you." And So Ted's high and dry. He can levitate, mind. He can float in midair, so he's okay. He hasn't had much to say, really, about the whole thing. He's in shock too, frankly. But anyway, look, thanks, guys, very much. We'll close off at that. And, yeah, we'll keep you posted. Keep an eye on Instagram, folks. Generally, as I'm out and about around the place, I'm just taking short videos here and there and posting them up on Instagram. You can find me on Instagram at Bart_K_nutrition, if you don't know where. I do follow Ted on the X platform, if you don't mind references to next Tuesday, often. He's a bit gobby. I can't do a thing with him. He won't rein it in. He's his own bear. He does his own thing over there. So all hail Ted. I don't know, Dave, social medias, where do people find you?
On YouTube at Zero Carb and Real Dave Mac on X.
Brilliant. Rich, social medias?
Apologies, I muted for some strange reason. Just to put this out there, I've come into the office to do this, so I've driven up to the office, and about 2 minutes ago, the radio in the next room just came on by itself. There's no one else in the office, so and it's really loud. I don't know if you guys can hear it, but it's
very good.
So yeah, that's thrown me a little. Yeah, Richard Smith Nutrition on YouTube, and all the links are in every post that I put on there.
Fantastic. And Dr. Abs?
Dr. Abs on YouTube and Dr. Abs on Instagram. Nice and easy for me.
Beautiful. And you can find Coach Stephen at Coach Stephen, basically, on pretty much all the social medias. Thank you to Stephen, who was here earlier. And, thank you once again to all three of you fine gentlemen. Thanks to everybody in the chat. Thanks for all the contributions. We'll make sure they get to where they need to be. And just keep them coming, folks. Absolutely. And as I say, we'll put them in a fund, and that fund will be distributed to folks around this region who need it. So appreciate your time. Thanks for being here. And yeah, if there's a bit of radio silence on the YouTube for a while, I think you can see why. I'm busy. All right. See you guys. Thanks very much.